Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the WOD today. So, for your warm up today, you'll have 3 rounds of the following 3 movements. The first one's going to be the forward lunge with rotation. So, you'll step forward, tap the back knee, hands behind the ears, rotate towards your up knee. Come back to center and step together. Show you again. From there, you have 7 each high plank taps. So for that, you can count to 14 if that makes it easier for you. Either way, come into your high plank position. For this, make sure that your feet are wide enough so that when you are only on 3 points of contact, it looks like you're still on 4 points of contact. So your hips and shoulders stay level with the ground, right? Tap, tap, oh tap. 7 each, so count to 14 on that one. From there, easy peasy. Air squats, chest up high, hands to the chest, right? You can sit at the bottom for a second to sort of open up your hips a little bit. You can do a little rotation, right? Give your body the love that it needs. So 7 of those, 3 rounds. When you finish with your 3 rounds, we're gonna work on a little bit of mobility, a little stretching. So we're going to do a static 90 and 90 stretch. So create those 2 90-degree angles, front knee, back knee, line up toe heel, knee and heel, nice straight line, then square your hips. Pressing both knees down into the ground, push your chest forward until you can't anymore, and then start to bring it down. I want you to hold here in this position for 30 seconds, and then switch sides. Boom. And do the other side. Now, you may need to repeat that a couple of times, and that's totally cool. If your legs hurt anywhere near as much as mine do after all those pistols from yesterday, that's totally cool to run through it a couple of times. Either way, when you're finished with your 90 and 90, we're gonna do some pass-throughs, right? Grab your handy broomstick. Remember, wrists and elbows are straight, ribs are tucked in so we don't wing out. Bring the bar around. Oh, my shoulders are so tight today, but still manageable, right? So that was difficult and a little bit uncomfortable between my shoulder blades, but I was still able to get it done. So the more that you do, the more loose your shoulders become, and the easier that starts to feel. If that starts to feel too easy, like you can just go back and forth really fast, bring your hands a little bit closer together. Remember, keep your elbows straight on that one. Cool, so then let's talk about our strength portion. So for your strength portion today, you'll have 3 rounds, no real time cap, so take your time on these. We're going to do 10 on each side of push press, right? So starting in that front rack position, little dip at the hips, right? Straight down. I'm going to come into full hip extension, squeeze my glutes, and then go into that overhead position where my elbow is locked out and my fist is on line with my ear, right? Bring it back down, come into your dip, elbows right in front of you, and continue until you get 10. From there, you have the front rack squat, right? So if I'm doing the front rack squat with a dumbbell, this is my front rack position. If I'm doing it with a kettlebell, that is my front rack position, right? So these are single arm. I'm just showing you with each of these implements that I have, and I'm just showing off a little bit. You know, no big deal. So, but you'll do these single arm, 10 on each side. Right, so come into your squat position, feet about shoulder width apart, squat down, get your hips on line or lower than your knees, pop up, and squeeze your glutes at the top. 10 of those. So the last strength exercise that we have for the strength portion is the quarter get up. So it's part of the Turkish Get Up, which we'll do more of in the skill section, but this is just isolating the core portion of that 14 movement exercise. So for that, come into your Turkish Get Up positioning. The knee that's bent is the arm that punches towards the ceiling. You're going to take a breath in, Blow that breath out and then roll over onto your elbow. That's it. That's it for this one. Just onto your elbow and then back down. All right, notice how I'm keeping my eye on the kettlebell and keeping the kettlebell over my shoulder. So you'll do 10 of those on each side. From there, we're gonna get the heart rate up in the middle of your strength circuit. So I want you to, depending on what you have available to you, I want you to either run 200 meters. If you have a row 250 meters. If you have a stationary bike at home, I want you to bike a quarter of a mile. And if you have none of those things, but you do have a jump rope, then do 100 single unders. I just want you to get in about 2 minutes of, like between 1 minute and 30 seconds and 2 minutes of cardio in between each of your sets for the strength portion today. Should be fun. So let's talk about our skill section. So we're going to work on the Turkish Get Up today. It's a very valuable exercise. It works the entire body. There's the core portion that we just went over for the strength section. There's the shoulder stability that comes with holding an object overhead as you stand up from the ground. And then there's also the lunge pattern involved in it as well. So I'm going to go through it and teach you some pro tips on how to get better at it, because eventually we'd like to be able to do heavier and heavier weight. It will provide you more and more shoulder stability, a stronger core, and strengthen up that lunge pattern. So that's why it's valuable. So let's talk about how to do it now. So you can do it with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. I'm going to use this kettlebell just because I'll be able to talk while I go through the movements. So when you're getting the kettlebell into your hand, you want to do so in a way that's safe for your shoulder. So this is actually where you want to start. Roll over and into position and punch the kettlebell straight up towards the ceiling. Right? Remember, the knee that's bent is the arm that punches, and I'm always going to keep my eye on the kettlebell and the kettlebell directly over my shoulder. When we take our eye off the kettlebell, a lot of times we have this tendency to bring it forward, and that's not good for anyone involved. So remember, big breath in, exhale, roll over onto your elbow. Don't try to roll straight up, roll over. Replace your elbow with your hand, and then lift your hips up to the ceiling as high as you can. Squeeze your glute to make that happen. It's like a single leg glute bridge. Pull that front foot forward. Don't let your knee drag on the floor, and then come into your half kneeling position. Notice that I still have my eye on that kettlebell. I'm going to stand up, and then I'm going to just do it in reverse, right? So reverse lunge, pivot, and bring your hand to the ground. Support your hips in a higher position so that when you pull that front foot through, that knee doesn't drag on the ground. Bring your butt to the floor, elbow, and back down. I'm going to show you again on the other side. All right. Big breath in, exhale, roll over and onto your elbow. Replace your elbow with your hand. Glute bridge, right? So lift those hips up to the ceiling as high as you can get them. That way when you pull that foot through, the knee doesn't drag. Come into your half kneeling position and then stand up. Elbow stays locked the whole time. Kettlebell stays directly over the shoulder, and then we just do it in reverse. So I want you guys to take 10 minutes and work on this. You can set it up as an EMOM where every minute on the minute you do one on each side. It is a lengthy rep that you have to do. But I want you to really work on slow, deliberate practice. And if you feel like you're really good at it, then work on putting something that's heavier or more unstable in your hand. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about that, please make sure to reach out to me, email, text, call, whatever you need. But yeah, that's the skill portion for the day. Check in with the email for the instructions on today's WOD. Today's WOD will be in Zen Planner. So if you want to get competitive and see how your other members of the gym are doing with these WODs, go ahead, input your score. And yeah, until tomorrow, I'll see you then.